Hey, everybody. Thanks for checking out today's broadcast. My name is Jonathan, and today is day 417 of my 3 year challenge to lose 300 pounds. It is weigh in Wednesday, so I am going to hop on the scale here in a minute. But if this is your first time checking out one of my broadcasts, a little bit about me. I'm 39 years old. I'm married. We have 4 children together, and I've been overweight my whole life. In 2020, I had gotten to a point where I was the heaviest that I had ever been. I was over 500 pounds, and I knew I needed to do something, or I was going to start having some serious medical complications start up. So I created this challenge with two main goals in mind. The big ones are that I need to lose a lot of weight. And so I challenged myself to lose 300 pounds. And in the past, I've set goals to lose weight, but I've never been able to like lose weight and maintain it. And then also with me setting such a big goal of losing 300 pounds, I I knew I needed to challenge myself to a time commitment and not just doing the weight, because a lot of times in the past I'd lose the weight and I wouldn't be able to maintain that weight loss. So I want to be able to lose the weight, figure out how to maintain and go on. So I am going to hop on the scale here. Anthony's checking in saying hi. Carrie saying hi. I hope you guys all had a great day. Anthony, I hope you have a Merry Christmas too. But let me hop on the scale and see what today's weight is. So that is not going in the right direction. That is uh 334.4. So that is a gain of a little over 3 pounds since last week, which is not the direction I want it to be going. Um, but there's a lot going on, I suppose, or it's something where I, I I realized that if I want to be losing weight, I have to be very strict, dedicated to the whole food, plant based, salt, oil, sugar free diet and be happy. I really am happy eating that way, and I lose weight when I'm eating that way. But I'm also kind of on the other side of it here that um there's a lot going on. We just had Carrie's birthday. We got Christmas. We got New Year's. And so trying to figure out what I'm going to do. But right now, and I think I've said this every Wednesday, as I sit here, my plan is to really commit through Christmas and to not uh, eat any of the processed food. It's something where I just can't. Um, I just need to get through this Christmas, and I need to do it that way again. I was watching the video from a year ago, or my December 21st from last year video, and I was just over 50 days into this. It was the 42-day fast, and then I had been refeeding for 8 or 9 days at that point, and I just hit the 100 pounds. And we had Carrie's birthday, and we, you know, we made it through Carrie's birthday without having the pizza like we did this year. And we had a great birthday still, I mean, it's something that, uh, and with Christmas, uh, Carrie says, bummer, I'm up too. It's a slippery slope for me. If I eat junk one day, I think I should be able to eat it every day and be fine. Yeah. And I've talked about it too, is that it's almost, there is a lag period too between when you do eat that junk food and when it shows up on the scale, that sometimes you don't attribute the food you're eating, a few days ago to the scale going up today, but it probably has an effect. So the again, I'm going to be extremely optimistic about things. That's why I committed to doing this for 3 years and not doing it until I run into my first hiccup. Why I still, it'd be very easy for me to have not got on and streamed and show that I gained 3 pounds, but um, it's what it is. And then yeah. Carrie says, and then yesterday she made these vegan cookies. They're for the kids, but she had to taste about four of them. Yeah. And I had one too last night, knowing that I was probably going to have a gain today. But um, I also have such a different outlook on my diet and on how things are going than I feel like I did before I went into this or even a year ago. And the what I worry about, the foods that I worry about now are different than the foods I thought I was going to worry about being bad for me or having issues, and uh being more concerned about the cholesterol count, content in the foods than the calorie content. Uh and so, but anyways, for me, I really I think that I'm just gonna go through Christmas and I'm gonna just stick to it. I've had the cookies we were gonna have, I mean, the only thing that I might try to twist Carrie's arm on is maybe trying to make the brownies that we've had in the past that don't have the added salt, oil, sugar. But um other than that, I might have to skip a meal here or there, but it's I want to get through the rest of this year losing weight. I got an interview I talked about coming up in a month. I want to be able to say I'm 200 pounds down when I do that interview as well. So, I just Carrie says she can do that. She's on board to so um and uh, it's been a great few months, but I feel so awful coming on here and gaining, and it's crazy how much the skill fluctuates from day to day. And one day I can be closer and further, uh, but it also is something where, you know, and I knock out on that scale, I wouldn't know I was up. And so I would, like, I almost think it's a good thing that I did have a gain going into Christmas here, where if I would have had, if I would have maintained or if I would have shown a loss, then I kind of would have thought about that I could get away with eating kind of like we did on Carrie's birthday on Christmas. So I'm gonna try to work it out and stick to it. There's a couple things, and when I say it, like the first thing that pops into my head are the events that are coming up in the next week where I really wanted to go off diet and was gonna allow myself to. And I think I just have to rein it in. Just go back to what I know works and stick to it. So, anyways, um, it sucks to have a little bit of a gain, but it is just 1 week in the long scheme of things. I'm still over 185 pounds down, or 100 and do the math on a calculator just so I, yeah, over 185 pounds down. So, um, so I'm happy with that. And we're gonna keep going forward. Like I said, we got Christmas coming up. That I think that we are gonna be able to manage, or it's in uh the abstaining is really, like it's the hardest thing to do, to stick with, but I think it's going to provide the best results. And if I don't do it through Christmas and through New Year's here, I think I'm going to see some weight gain. And I don't want to get any heavier. I really wish I was under 330 again. I really wish I was under 20 again. So we're going to get there. It's just going to take a little bit longer than we hoped. Let me see what I have here. So I did eat last night. I wasn't sure if I was gonna fast or not after I left, but and Carrie says we struggle like anyone else. It's a tough time of year when there's food everywhere. Yes. And the um right, just tough. Um yesterday I was debating on fasting last night. And if I would have fasted, I probably would have um I would have done better obviously on the scale, but some of that I feel like is a bit of uh a cheat in that, it's just the weight of the food that was in your body. It's not necessarily a measurement of the fat that's on your butt, right? But last night, Carrie made a new dish. Um, Man, did that not taste great. It was interesting. I don't know. When we were eating it, and she admitted when she was making it, she kind of went off recipe and started trying to fancy it up, maybe, uh, and got a little bit out of hand. There was a uh, taste to it. Um, that I explained. It was similar to like when you eat something that's really spicy and you take a bite of it and it like takes your breath away. It was um Carrie says it wasn't great when she followed the recipe and she tried to save it. Yes. And uh it was something that it just kind of took, yeah, like I said, it took your breath away eating it, or there was just like this aftertaste. And we both ate some of it or had a decent sized portion of it because one of the kind of mentalities I have had going into this a bit is that, food is food, in that, whether you get the combination right or not. And we might, I don't know. I I like the combination of a lot of the foods in there. It was just the seasoning that needed to be figured out, I guess, so I'm sure that dish could have tasted good because there was nothing wrong with any of the major components in it. I mean, I'm not sure what the type of noodles that it was. I know Carrie, it was curried Japanese, something. But um, anyways, we didn't end up saving it. We didn't even attempt to try to feed it to the kids. Uh, Anthony says it might take a while. You plateaued at 330 for about 6 months. Yeah, and I'm getting close to that 6 month mark. So I'm looking forward to busting through that plateau. And it isn't like you said, I just need to not worry about it. And I have feel like I've been not worrying about it. Uh and then I worry that I've not worried about it too much. And what do you do? So but no, thank you. Brown rice noodles is what it was. But yeah, I mean the components of the dish seemed to be fine. It was just the seasoning that needed to get figured out. We also had some Spanish rice and beans, Spanish beans and rice, Spanish, I don't know. Yeah. That was left over that we had that as well, or I had a little bit of that as well yesterday. So I didn't like fast or starve myself by any means. I did skip breakfast this morning. Um so the I would have had some weight for that, but I've actually enjoyed skipping breakfast the last couple days. Um I think I'm going to enjoy eating breakfast tomorrow though, and not skipping it, because it has been a couple days since I had my oatmeal. You need to get that oatmeal fix in sometimes. So yeah, that was kind of my food since yesterday. And so yeah, I mentioned, non-scale victory. This is a dumb non-scale victory that I have. And I should probably, it's something I should go to the doctor and actually get a test done about my sleep apnea. But I was watching the video from a year ago that I had done, and I couldn't help but notice the big red mark I had across the bridge of my nose on the video. That mainly because my beard, probably because my beard is about the same size it is now. It might have been a little larger. But I really had to strap that CPAP machine on my face to not leak. And then but yeah, I'd have a big red mark across my nose from my CPAP machine. So I thought that was kind of a non-scale victory, was that I didn't have that mark anymore. But like I said, I should probably go get tested. I may have some sleep apnea still, but the machine was just pushing too much pressure and it was causing more issues than it was helping. And it's been 6+ months since I've worn that CPAP machine. It's wild because I've worn that since 2007. And I don't know if I ever talked about the first time like when I went and got tested for that and figured that out. Because if you think you have sleep apnea, uh, go get tested. Go see your primary care physician. Tell them that, if you're suffering from any fatigue like that, get a sleep study done. It was one of uh, the best things I could have done for myself. I put it off for a long time. I knew I had issues with sleeping for years. I had roommates that would always complain about how loud I snored or that I had issues. And so the um it wasn't till like I was working and we have a family business. And so I was working in the office and I was starting to kind of like fall asleep in the office. And my mom would bug me a lot about it and say, "Hey, you should get something done." I think she had some people or some others that she knew that had sleep apnea or, because it was something that in 2007 was becoming more popular. Uh, of a diagnosis, and they were definitely the machines and the equipment was being developed to have a machine at home. So I kind of put it off. I was kind of like, well, it's not really uh, I, I always, I was working, we run a moving company. So I was doing the hours with the working and I was also young. So I was going out and partying and I was always kind of like, well, I'm burning the candle at both ends. And so that's why I'm always so tired. And it took a wake up call for me to finally like decide to go and get it checked out. And what happened was it was spring. It was really nice out. It was kind of like I remember it just being one of the like first nicer uh days of the year. And I had a motorcycle that I had gotten out of storage or was in my garage and it was finally nice enough to go ride. And for work, I had to go do an estimate to go to a customer's house and kind of look through what they had for the move and then to give them a quote for their move. And I remember I was driving and I was got off kind of a busier road and I turned into like a small subdivision. And so I wasn't going really very fast, but while I was on my motorcycle driving through this neighborhood, I nodded off like you do when you're driving tired in a car or like I've done 1,000 times in class, when I was in school and I just kind of dropped my head and the whole bike kind of wobbled and that was like a huge, like, oh my, just like I could have just bit it. And so I did whatever I needed to do for work. And then I got back down to the office and, I don't know if my mom was at the office or I talked to her later, but I know the first thing I was like, I got to make a doctor's appointment. I got to go see what's going on with this because I almost just bit it on a motorcycle, but I should be the most alert. And so I scheduled an appointment with the doctor and they set up the appointment for the sleep study. And the way they explained it to me that it would work was I would go and do the initial sleep study where they would measure how many instances throughout the night that I had uh, an occasion where I had a blocked airway. They would measure my oxygen saturation level. They would measure a lot of different things that first night, and then they would show it to a doctor. They would let me know, hey, this is whether we think you have sleep apnea or not. And then you'll come back, we'll do a study, we'll hook you up to equipment, and we'll figure out what kind of pressure and what kind of setup you need. And so I go to the sleep study, get there like 9 or whatever time I'm supposed to get there. Uh, go to bed. I think I must have been in bed by 10. Uh, and I go to sleep and it was maybe midnight. And the technician comes into the room and he woke me up and he's like, "Hey, Mr. Fa, I just want to let you know that uh we're doing your study here and you absolutely have sleep apnea." Goes, "There's no question you're uh having like, I want to say it was over 30 seconds for every 60 seconds I was asleep. I was holding my breath, if not higher. I believe that the oxygen saturation was super low. Like I want to say in the 50s, like high 50s. But and he was like, you need a CPAP machine, and I already contacted the doctor or whoever I need to contact, and we're actually going to switch you over to the second night worth of things and put a CPAP on you tonight and get a measurement for what you need." And so they did that testing and I went and I got a machine, and I remember like it was the most stressful time from the time that they told me I had sleep apnea to the time that I actually got the equipment. Um because I got on the internet and it was kind of first kind of WebMD, but not even like it was more like the forums, like what people were posting, like women talking about how like they didn't even think women could get sleep apnea until like the mid 2000s, like 2005 time. Like not that they couldn't, but it was very, very rare. And now, there's it's kind of probably just as many women as men kind of thing. And like comparing the numbers that I had gotten to the numbers that these people were posting that they were at, or the numbers that their significant others had, and the also the information about the strokes that they had and all of these other issues that they had from the complications of uh sleep apnea. I that off. But and so uh yeah, it was just a wild kind of crazy thing. And then so having that kind of week period where I was afraid to even fall asleep because of all of the stories I was reading and all the different things that I saw. And then when I finally got a machine and I wore it those first couple nights, um it was amazing. I mean, the difference. Anthony's asking. I know you said you were behind if the breathing machines work. But yes, I mean, if you think you have sleep apnea, it makes difference. I mean, just off the rip, like I lost 20 or 30 pounds, like easy, just from having the machine. And then kind of that snowballed actually into a bunch of different things that realistically led to me meeting Carrie, and getting married and having 4 kids and being here right now. Because I lost weight, I got the sleep apnea machine, I lost weight, I became more of a person and less of a zombie, and then I put myself out there, and that's how we met up. But that's a story for a different guest. Anyways, the so yeah, the sleep apnea machine was just wild. And then for me to like how tied to it I was for since 2007. I From 2007 until 2013 I had that machine on every night. And in 2013 I lost a huge amount of weight. Um got off the machine and was so happy that I was off the machine. And uh then slowly kind of from there, so 2013 I lose the weight, 2014 I I had to go back to the doctor in 2016 or 2017 to get my prescription re-upped because uh I was starting to have issues with sleep apnea again, or I might have tried to use my old equipment, but everything was pretty old. So I did have to kind of go back to the doctor. I remember in 2016 or 17 to get new equipment. And then it's just a hassle. Like it's been uh like so if you need CPAP equipment, go get it and do it 100%. That's absolutely my recommendation. But having to live with a CPAP machine is it's a it's a it's kind of like having a dog, like can't go on vacation without having to remember your CPAP machine, like you can't and when you go on vacation or go visit the in-laws and you forgot your CPAP machine and then you got to sleep on a bed that's maybe not the most comfortable bed for you or one you're not used to and you don't have your CPAP machine and you traveling and all this other stuff, it's a burden. But and so you make sure not to forget it again, I guess. But it's happened, I know that from experience, or even just wanting to go and stay somewhere for one night and you're kind of like, "Man, machine," and um so it's nice to not kind of be tethered to that at night. But again, if you think you need it, it's worth doing because one of the things that they talk about in the Pleasure Trap book that uh, is one of kind of their key focuses is that we don't get enough sleep. And Carrie said camping was rough. Yeah, going camping was very rough. And there was a lot of occasions I do a week-long trip where I'm having to handle or deal with that as well as a bunch of other things. But um man, what did I start to say before I got distracted by the camping is rough? CPAP. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I totally was gonna go off about something and then I allowed myself to get sidetracked. Um so anyways, yeah, the CPAP machine is been nice to not have. Um, I don't know. Carrie says she's making icing. Yes, she's talking more about the awful foods that we're gonna have in the house to tempt me when I get home. Uh so the yeah, the CPAP just was something where I'm glad I don't have to worry about it as much, but we'll don't have so I'm still listening to the Born to Run book on Audible. It's really a cool story. So far, I like it. It's kind of a neat. Carrie says she has an extra kid there to help her get them eating quicker. Um, the Born to Run book, though, it is this story. This guy who was a writer. And again, I talked about it a little bit with Rich Roll. Book that I listened to, which was Old's book was called. Can't think of the name of his book. Anyways, the Ultra Finding Ultra book. I don't know if, but the Rich Roll book was actually written by like a guy who is a writer, and this Born to Run is written by a journalist, whereas the other books that I've kind of listened to, the How Not to Die, How Not to Diet, Pleasure Trap, Dr. Furman's book, those were all written by doctors and not written by uh, authors necessarily or people that are that took creative writing classes, let's say. So this Born to Run book has been really good. It has been a neat kind of uh, story about this indigenous tribe in the Copper Canyon, which is like northern Mexico, the best I can tell, um, and how they are incredible distance runners. And he tells some stories of some races and some just kind of amazing feats that people have accomplished through running. Um, and I'm really into the book. I'm very interested in, you know how it's progressing. I've only kind of been listening to it in my vehicle, so I get it in like half hour snippets. I don't know, snippets. Um, and I know yesterday, like when I got to work, I listened to another 15 or 20 minutes in my office before I really got into some other things because I was just enjoying the book a lot. There is parts of the book that haven't really. Uh, the book was recommended to me by my brother, and he talked a lot about. There's parts in the book where they talk about how our feet are damaging, or the shoes that we've been wearing are damaging our feet. He's made reference to these runners having issues, these people that are these tribesmen or these indigenous people that run kind of in sandals or run with very minimal cushioning. There's been a couple instances where they have put them in like top of the line running shoes, and they've started to have issues in their knees and in their joints from wearing the running shoe. So I'm very interested to getting into that part of the book, and I'm looking forward to it. Um, but so far, I've been it's been a great book, and I still have a lot to get through. I want to say I have about 6.5 hours left. It looks like so. Um, But yeah, so that was about what I had to talk about today. I appreciate you guys checking out my broadcast and following along. It does suck to have a little bit of a gain, but I will survive to see another weigh in. Um, it's about the long run and not about the week to week. And it's easy to say that when I gain weight. Next week, when I lose weight, I'm going to be all excited. So, um, but again, thank you guys for following along. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, make sure you do subscribe to the channel. Click on that bell icon, turn on notifications. You'll get alerted when I go live, which is usually around 4 p.m. on weekdays. Um, I have a Discord that if you wanted to join our Discord, the link to that is down in the description below. Um, it's a great place for you guys to kind of share what's going on with you. I'd love to get participation from you guys, see what's going on with your weight loss or how you're doing with maintaining your weight loss, and just different things you're doing with your diets. If you're having issues, what you're doing to tweak them, things like that. There's also a link down below to our Pinterest board. That Pinterest has a lot of the recipes that we've been enjoying. The miso and the chickpea tikka masala, I think, are down there. And then there's a lot of other recipes as well, that have been staples of ours throughout this whole kind of process. So that would be a great place to check those things out. Thanks again, guys. And if you haven't started your diet, get started right now. There's no reason to wait. I know we have Christmas coming up. I know we have New Year's coming up. I'm going to stick to my diet. I'm going to do it. And you guys should get started on your diet right now. And, you can get started, especially if you are over 500 pounds. And uh, I know you have a long ways to go, but you gotta start doing something. You gotta put brackets on your eating. You gotta say, I can't eat anymore after 7, or I can't eat before, uh you gotta get rid of some of those processed foods. So Carrie says, will I be on the rest of the week? Yes, I will be on tomorrow. And then I will be off on New Year's, Christmas. I actually probably won't be back until the Tuesday. So I'll be on tomorrow, then the Tuesday, Wednesday after Christmas, I'll be on. So, um, Anthony says if you're not going to be on the, yeah. If I don't catch you tomorrow, if you don't catch us tomorrow, I hope you have a great holiday too. And, I should be back Tuesday for sure, maybe Monday, but I'll be on tomorrow. So you can catch me tomorrow and, we'll see how that goes. So you guys have a good night and, see you tomorrow.